then I'm too far away.
That's all right. That's okay. All right. We won't stress that. That's all right. I'll work on that.
What
I'll get it
signage
better.
do we
I'll
hurry
get it
for
better
you?
prepared for next time. I can see everyone who's here, so we're okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We have 60 out of 82, 11 absences. Okay. All right. Let me just share one more document, then we're gonna get started. Okay. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being on time. I know we had the meeting scheduled from 10 to 11. We'll see what we can do. I will definitely do my best to get everyone out of here. I know there's a lot to be done by 11 a.m. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to play a video. If by chance you all happen to not hear the video, if there's any audio issues, please just unmute yourself and just let me know not working. We're going to begin the meeting. We're going to watch a short video here. Here we go.
Getting the video, no audio,
Yeah, no sound.
no sound.
That's
No,
fantastic.
I didn't hear either.
No sound.
No.
Killing me. That was my little pep talk video. Ah, that's all right. That's all right then. We're gonna move on from the pep talk then. Okay. Well, that was my little kid president. We were going to begin with a little pep talk. But that is okay. We're gonna dismiss the pep talk then. So let's forget the pep talk. Okay. All right. So one thing that I wanted to make sure, again, you know, I'm sure these go without saying, our Zoom meeting norms. We're gonna make sure that we sign in. Don't worry about that. I'll take care of that for next time. Cameras on, make sure we're dressed appropriately, microphones off, participate freely. We definitely want nothing, absolutely nothing but positivity in these meetings. Now we're gonna share, we're gonna collaborate, and you know, we're always gonna speak nothing but the truth, but we always want to try to keep things as positive as we can. Okay. All right, so our agenda for today, we're going to talk about the Chromebook reconciliation process. I know you've all heard some things about this. Some things might be accurate, some things inaccurate. That's why we're all here meeting today, to make sure that we're all on the same page and we understand exactly what this process entails. We're also going to touch on the Chromebook case distribution. We're going to talk about homeschooled student devices and what's going to be done with those students who are currently homeschooled but still are retaining one of our devices. And we are going to take part in a short breakout session, breakout room session, followed at the end with a little Q&A. Okay, so we're going to jump right in here. Our Chromebook reconciliation process. Now, some of you might have been a part of a team already that has gone out to a school. We've completed, I believe, 4 or 5 schools at this point. And I just want to read to you just the first paragraph of the memo that I shared with you all. Just to reiterate one more time, the memo, that document that I shared with you all last week, that is for your eyes and my eyes only. That is not to be disseminated with any staff or principals at this time. Okay, I just want to reiterate that one. John, we got to mute you, John. I just want to reiterate that one more time, please. That memo that I shared with you is not to be shared with any staff yet or principals yet. That official memo is being disseminated to principals either later today or tomorrow. So I want them to have time to get it, eat it up, chew it up a little bit, and then you can help them with understanding the process. But just to reiterate one more time, this document is just for your eyes and my eyes only at this time, okay? So the first paragraph of that document did read: the Division of IT, Information Technology, will begin an annual inventory reconciliation project. This is a requirement to protect the assets and ensure PGCPS compliance with federal grant audit and development of processes for repairs and future budgeting. IT will confirm the assignment of the devices as reflected in the asset management system. So to put it in layman's terms, we as a team small teams for each school will be going out to each school to reconcile which devices are assigned to which children. We are not by any means taking an inventory of any school. We are not participating in an inventory. We want to give the schools a great baseline, an accurate count of exactly which devices are assigned to which students. And as far as whatever excess Chromebooks and iPads might be in the school, so we know it's accurately reflected in asset management. That's all that we're doing, and that's our purpose this year. Going forward in the year 2023, this responsibility is going to fall on the school. This is something they are going to have to continuously do each year. We're here this year to do the bulk of it so that going forward in the coming years, it'll be an easier process for them. Yes, there is a lot of mess to clean up. Yes, there are a lot of devices at schools that are not assigned to children that children currently have in their hands. That's all that this reconciliation process entails. Okay, so as you're invited out or as you join these small teams and we go out to the buildings, that's our main focus. We do go class to class in an elementary school, or in the case of a K through 8 middle or high school, those schools will have to identify a central location for us, our team, to be situated, and the children will come to us. Okay, we scan the devices, we make sure that they're accurately assigned. If they're not, we figure out why they're not. Is it a sibling device or was this never assigned to you? But that's our purpose. That's what we're doing as we go out to go through this Chromebook reconciliation process. Okay. The document that I shared with you all. Okay, you can all see the document here, correct? Just someone give me a thumbs up. Someone unmute and say yes.
It's just the link right now.
You're right.
It's just a link. Okay, my apologies. Here we go. Let me share my screen with you then. There we go. All right. So this is the document that was shared with you all last week. Again, this is only for your eyes and my eyes currently. Principals administration will be seeing this document in another two to 3 days or so. So it's our responsibility. As I said, I talked to you what our responsibilities are. We're also going to the tech at the school. If this is your middle school or high school, elementary school, we're asking you, because you are familiar with these schools, to kind of help and liaise with the schools. We're asking the schools to provide us with a map of the school, to provide us with the roster of all the children in the school with their student numbers. It helps during the reconciliation process as we're going classroom to classroom, or as these children come to us. If there's issues that we recognize, it's fantastic to have these student names, their associated teacher, and their student number in case we need to update or accurately notate anything that might be correct or incorrect with the assignment of these devices. When you do come out as a part of the team, we ask that you arrive roughly 30 minutes prior to the start of the day. Make sure to bring a fully charged laptop. You can bring a charger if you need to, but as long as, if your device is fully charged, it'll get you through the reconciliation process just fine. We will bring extra barcodes. As you all know, there's devices that are out there that have no serial numbers or have no barcodes. So if we come across one that does not have a barcode, we can update that in asset management. So it does have a nice clean barcode on that device. If you have or have not had a chance to take a look at the document yet, to see what it looks like as we actually go through the reconciliation process, I'm going to share that with you now. Okay, hang on one second. Oops. I think that's the right one. Sorry, guys. Schedule. Okay, all right, let me share this with you here. Carmody Hills. Okay. All right, this is an example of, this is Carmody Hills Elementary School. We went through Carmody Hills last week. We had a small team of individuals. Before we go out to a school, Melinda, with the fantastic help of Ms. Gooch, Melinda Gooch, she's been fantastic in creating the processes and the documentation for this plan. But this is an example of the sheet that you're going to see before we go out to reconcile one of these schools. In this case, this is Carmody Hills Elementary School. You'll see exactly the number of devices that are assigned to the children in the school, the number of Chromebook cases that were delivered by the warehouse to the school. And here on this first page, we see our directions of what we're going to have to read, what we're going to have to do. So it tells you in column A and B, you're going to look for the student name and student ID. Column C is the student ID. Let me give you a clearer case of what it looks like. So this is our student list. These are the devices that are assigned to the students at Carmody Hills Elementary School. As we go through the school, you'll simply use a control find or command find if you're using a Mac. You'll scan the barcode of that device that's sitting in front of the child. Let's say we scan the device ending in 293. You can see that this device should be assigned to Blake Ross. If that device is correctly assigned to Blake, in our reconcile tab, you would choose correctly assigned, which in this case it was. If that particular barcode is not assigned to this individual or no assignment at all, we would choose no assignment in AMS. If by chance we scan this barcode and we realize that someone else maybe with the same last name as this student has that device, then we might want to ask the student, hey, do you have a sibling who's in PGCPS? And they'll say yes, and we'll ask for the name. And you'll learn that, at some point, as you guys know, you see it out at your schools, brothers and sisters, they might mistakenly have taken that device from their brother or sister and have it at the school that day. In this case, we would choose other, and we would create notes here in the comment section, and we would type in, as we have done down here, sibling. Okay. The majority of these cases, we should find that the devices are correctly assigned. As we do get through and we go through all the students in the building, you're going to find devices that might not be assigned to anyone in the building. We will notate that at the bottom of the spreadsheet. And we will indicate their name, their student number, the barcode, and the serial number of that device. And we can make notes here that it is now correctly assigned. After we're done, we can then assign those devices to the children in asset management. As when we got there, these devices were not assigned to the children. So again, this reconciliation process is just to give the schools a clean slate, a nice clean sheet, so we know exactly what's assigned to the students. There are some fantastic schools out there that are on top of it. I mean, absolutely on top of it. You know who you are, or you know who those schools are. They may have a fantastic tech team, and they might be 98% accurate. This process will be seamless and flawless, and we can get through the school quickly. On the other hand, you and I both know there are schools out there who have a little bit of difficulty using the asset management system. And that's okay. Okay. We can't expect everyone to be, to fully grasp it this first time around, but it is new to them. But this is where we are here to help them with that. Going forward, they're going to need to do better. They're going to need to learn. Again, if they want instruction, they can reach out to myself. They can reach out to you guys. You know how easy the process is. The quick assign tab, if you need to assign it or unassign, you can do it in just a matter of moments. That is basically what this process entails. You'll see a pink section here on your spreadsheets, and these are students that are not associated with any teacher in a particular school. They might be transfer students, they might have withdrawn, or they are just not found. That's what this little pink section here categorizes. You're going to find that in every school that we go through. There is a schedule that's been shared with you as well. I ask that, of course, if you go through the schedule and you see that one of your schools is on the schedule, please make sure that you sign up on at least the schools that you might be the IT technician for, whether if you're a grade 19 and have 5 to 8 sites, those sites. If obviously if you're a high school or middle school tech, you're going to choose your associated high school, middle school, and elementary schools as well. I'll let you know going forward exactly how many schools will need everyone to help out. The teams do fluctuate anywhere from, depending on enrollment size, from 3 techs all the way up to, we have not done a large high school yet, but we're estimating around 10, 8 to 10, maybe 12 techs, depending on the size of the high school. The schools that we've been through, we haven't had any more than 8 technicians at any school. It's been a pretty good process so far. We've had some hiccups. We've learned a lot. But this is what the reconciliation process entails. We do have a tab here for unassigned devices. So after we're done, or while we're going through the process of figuring out which devices are assigned to which children, there is a tab here for unassigned devices. So we're going to go through, let's say we happen to be at Beacon Heights Elementary School and they have 12 Chromebooks that are sitting in a
Hello,
closet.
Queen. Are you wanting to leave your corporate job?
Okay, all right. If they happen to have 10 damaged Chromebooks sitting in the back closet, we do want to capture those because they are still sitting there at the school. Or if they have 20 brand new box Chromebooks, they are still physically at the school, and we do want to capture these devices as well. Again, when we run a report for a school, we're always right now going to find that asset management believes there's more devices at the school than are actually there. So this is to help clean up that process as well. We're going to know exactly what Chromebooks and what iPads are in each school when we're done with this school. And this will be, for lack of better words, the Bible for that school going forward. So we will make the changes around on our end in asset management to make sure that what we found at that school is what's reflected in asset management. We know that we're going to take a loss. There are a lot of lost Chromebooks, whether or not it's been correctly categorized in asset management, that's a whole nother story. But we know that we're going to take a loss. There are a few thousand devices that we've lost already, and we're going to lose a few thousand more. We're hoping to minimize it through this process, but we just want to give an accurate reflection of what's in each school. So that's a quick snapshot of what the Chromebook reconciliation process looks like. Okay, I'm going to take questions at the end, but I just want to keep going for now. Our next bullet, homeschooled student devices. I should share my screen back with you so you can see. There are currently more than 300 students who currently have a Chromebook. And these students are currently homeschooled students, of which they should not have our devices. So part of the process, there was a group that sent us a spreadsheet of the children who are no longer in school, Prince George's County Public School, students. They are homeschooled or they have withdrawn from Prince George's County Public Schools, but they still retain one of our devices. This list of 349 devices is being sent through Chrome Management later today, probably around noon, and they will be disabled immediately. They've been sent notifications in the mail about a week ago, a little over a week ago, to please return these devices. If you don't return it, they've been given instructions that they're going to have to pay for the device. We're hoping they just choose to return it. We've received maybe 20 or 30 back at this point, but starting today at noon, they're going to be immediately disabled. So hopefully we can get those back sooner than later. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware. You might hear, hey, I got this letter in the mail, or they turned off my device. This is what is in reference to. Okay. All right. Moving forward. All right. Our breakout session. All right. This is something new for us. I don't think we've had a breakout session before. We're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. So each of you all are going to be sent in just a moment to a breakout room. In this breakout room, I would love for you all to talk. There's going to be about 10 of you in each breakout room. But I would like for you to discuss on how we as a department, we as IT technicians, how we can better utilize technology to keep everyone up to date on what's happening in our world, in the PGCPS world of information technology. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. We're all responsible adults to make sure that you, in your small group, identify a facilitator, a recorder, and a reporter. In that PowerPoint that I sent you, there's a tiny URL to a document that depending on what group you're in, there's gonna be 5 groups. I would like you guys to just record a few thoughts or ideas of what you might have. We'll come back after 10 minutes and we'll share and talk about these ideas that your groups might have as to how we can better share information as a group. Okay? So I am going to break you guys up. Breakout rooms. Great. And I'll see you guys back in 10 minutes. The time is now 10:25. We're gonna come back at 10:35. Okay. You should see a notification now to move to your room. Please go ahead and move to your rooms.
Hey, Pat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. The building,
The
went
building
down.
one. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what Ron had texted me. Okay,
It just came back up. So
Gotcha.
they're in their breakout set.
yeah. George, have you moved to your breakout session yet? Yvette, have you moved to a breakout session yet? There we go. Just George. I think I need to move George. Yvette, I need you to go to breakout session.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you heard me. I said I was helping them set up for a 10 o'clock meeting that I just found out about. There's no location for the meeting. And the guest was standing here waiting. You can put me in a breakout section.
Let's see if I can figure that out. See, now you're making it real difficult on me, huh? Clarissa, are you having a hard time? Are you in a breakout session yet? I guess you're muted, but I'm guessing you're saying no. Right?
I thought you had to put us in a breakout session.
Nope. You all got, here you go. I'm gonna put you in one now. Bye, Yvette.
I
You see
join
it?
breakout.
Thank you. Les, do you want to join the breakout session or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Uh-oh, did I not give everyone access? Tell me I didn't. Gosh. I'm a little sad the video didn't play. Hey, Ron. Ron, can you hear me okay? I don't know what happened with the video. Last night when I shared the video, I was testing it amongst myself. The video played just fine. That's a shame. Mm.
No, I didn't.
I'm gonna
That's-
mute.
That's okay. It's all right. Okay, thanks, Les. Thank you guys for coming on back. The rooms are gonna close in about 25 seconds. While we're waiting for everyone to come back, there's a short poll. A short poll that I'd like you guys to take. You should see 3 questions. If you all wouldn't mind, and it's anonymous, if you all wouldn't mind answering. I gotta mute everyone. Someone is making a whole bunch of noise. There we go. If you all wouldn't mind taking a second to answer this short poll. Thank you all for coming back. There's a short poll that I'd like you all to take. Just 3 questions. It's completely anonymous. Don't worry about it. It's okay. But if you wouldn't mind just answering these 3 questions for me before we get to the Q&A.
God will forgive me for my answer on the first question, right?
And completely anonymous, ma'am. Completely anonymous. Yeah. All right, we
Problem
have
with these
about-
virtual meetings is we don't have snacks. I'm hungry.
Oh, you know what? And I thought that's a great suggestion. That's a great. I was in a meeting last year with
I got-
some company, and they actually sent out like Grubhub $20 gift cards so we could order food for ourselves and eat while we're in the meeting. Now that's maybe I shouldn't bring that up because I can't do that for 80 people, but that's a good point.
What company was that? Let me write down their.
I know, right? Yeah. All right.
And
Thank you
just
guys.
one thing on the last question,
Yes.
I get a lot of praise and appreciation from the people that I see every day in my buildings. But
Uh-huh.
from the IT team, like the superior, the upper management and stuff, I feel like
Gotcha.
we're the pawns. So that's, I just want to, let
I-
you know about that.
Yeah,
I-
second
I-
that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. There's
That's
always
outside of you,
supposed to be-
Patrick.
No, it's okay.
That's
It's all
outside
right.
of you.
That's all right. That's why this is completely anonymous. I just wanted to get, this is a climate survey. So I just want to see how you are feeling. You guys are my we're all family. I know we all have different roles here and there, but ultimately we're all family. All right. I think we're up to 86% have completed this poll. We're going to give it another 15 seconds before we get into the Q&A and see what the 5 groups have discovered. So if we could get the last 11 people to fill out the poll. Again, it's completely anonymous. It's okay. Answer it however you feel. Just honesty is all that I want.
Can
just
you
honesty.
resend it? Somehow mine got
eviscerated.
Eviscerated. I don't believe I can. It's okay. It's all right. We're gonna stop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're gonna end the poll. That wasn't bad. We got about 89%, 90% participation. So I want you guys to see the answer to those questions. This isn't just for me. Now, you're not seeing names. It's okay. It's completely anonymous. But I just want you all to see, just so we can get a sense of where we are. Can you guys see the results? Is that a yes? That's a yes. I'm going to take it as a yes. So as far as I look forward to coming to work each day, we had 75% that actually look forward to coming to work each day. I understand, number 2, I understand clear objectives of my job. Yes, completely, 66%. Yes, somewhat, 34%. No, not really, and no, not at all, 0%. So that's good. That's fantastic. That's better than I thought. And option number 3, and this is what I thought, and this is where my main concern is, I feel appreciated for the job that I do. So completely, only 23% of the 61 people who answered feel completely appreciated. 48%, somewhat. A large chunk, no, not really. And then we have 5 out of the 68, out of the 61 that answered as no, not at all. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for filling out that poll. That's a poll that's not just for the sake of taking a poll. I really wanted to know, because I don't get a chance to speak with each and every one of you as often as I would like to. I see you here and there. You might pop up out some overtimes. I might see you in passing, some trains and things like that. But as far as like sitting down one-on-one, I don't get a chance to really speak with you guys as much as I would like to. So this is helpful, and especially number 3, that's really impactful. And I'm gonna do something. I vow to you that the next time we have a meeting, at least just us, I can't speak for all of IT, but as far as us, I guarantee you that number 3 will change. That's first and foremost. I agree. I mean, I'm thrilled that 75% of you look forward to come to work each day. I was anticipating about 45, 50%. So 75 is through the roof. I'm thrilled. That's great. All right. Thank you guys for completing that poll. Now, group one, who is our reporter for group 1? You can unmute yourself and announce yourself. The reporter for group 1.
I think I was the spokesperson for group 1.
That's you, Dawn, right?
Oh, that's Dawn. Yeah, Dawn.
Okay.
Lady.
All right, Dawn, please share what your fantastic group 1 had their thoughts and ideas as far as disseminating information and anything else that you guys might have talked about.
Well, we mainly kind of discussed just the reconciliation for the most part. And in terms of just, I guess, the communication part, we just kind of spoke on just maybe just kind of getting correspondences out there, you know, in a timely manner, and just kind of really continuing to have meetings like this to kind of keep abreast on what's, you know, going on. And just, I mean, overall, I just think overall it's always just kind of been just a lack of communication overall. So I think other than just somebody just kind of taking the overall initiative and just, hey, we have this to do, or we have to do this kind of in advance. That's really it. But our main discussion was more so just about the process of, you know, reconciliation, because a lot of people obviously have questions. So, and I think Wade and I are the only 2 who, in that particular group, who have actually done it. So just kind of discussing different ways, maybe picking a site once it gets to that point that's kind of close to us, and just kind of trying to get a team or finding people to correspond with at the actual site. And there are some schools, like there was one concern about what if you don't have a tech liaison or a quote unquote tech team at one particular site. And I think every site is just different. So there's some schools that are all hands on and they may have a complete tech squad with a tech liaison, and there's some schools who just don't want to be bothered. So, and I guess just really finding out if there's an actual assigned person who actually has access to asset management and who's responsible for doing it at that particular site. So once we're in the buildings, and since we're supposed to be showing them pretty much what to do, who that person would be, just to kind of be in contact with that person. So. All
right.
I mean, we were kind of,
Perfect,
so we talked about a few things.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's great. All right, so reconciliation, basically communication in a timely manner is what you guys are looking for. The overall lack of communication that we had been used to, that we won't get used to anymore. Also, to pick a closer, I just want to make sure I'm just reiterating it to make sure I get it all. To maybe you recommend maybe picking a site that's close to them, wherever the IT tech might be, to come
Right.
and, just get hands-on with it to see how the process goes. And what if there is no particular tech team or tech person, ETL at that school, what to do, who takes the lead at that site, as well as identify who at the school has asset management rights and who should be updating these assets and asset management. Does that cover
Yes, yep.
for the most part? Perfect. All right. Great job, group one. Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm not promising answers to everything right now, but we're going to take all these suggestions and thoughts and we're going to improve on any and everything that we can. So I appreciate you. Great job, group one. Thank you. Group two. Who's our reporter for group two?
I think I was. Well, I took some notes anyway. I think somebody else did in our group. We didn't really identify one, but anyway.
Take it away, Miss Murphy. Go ahead.
Our thing was communication as well, Don. We said monthly meetings, increased communication. Someone suggested newsletters to everyone in the county with major changes coming from the IT department, the IT tech information we need to know at first. So we talked about videos for training, just for IT techs, not getting training involved, but just doing our own training for stuff that the IT techs particular need to know. Tutorial videos, again, I wrote that down. We talked about group chat or message boards where we could put messages that's coming up. Like I talked about the printing issue. I wasn't sure how to resolve people with the Mac printing until somebody put in an email about the AirPrint, and that helped me a lot to get to, my users that I needed. So we talked about message boards, group chats, and somebody suggested Google Docs, maybe using as a message board, or I had help desk. I put help desk. I just wrote it down. Info. Derek, can you help me? No.
And
Okay.
so just like the help desk got the little escalation chart, like we can have our own, form similar to that. Just giving out information.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks, group two. Just to make sure that I've got everything communicated here. So communication, that's probably going to be cross-platform for all 5 groups. That's fantastic. Monthly meetings, you'd like to see newsletters from IT disseminated to not only just ourselves, but the rest of the county. You'd like to be, at the front line with getting information. Make sure that you guys get the information first and not have to hear it from second or third hand sources. Video trainings, not necessarily for even the ETLs or anybody else, but just specific video trainings for us as a team, for the technicians. Possible resolution to help disseminate information, message boards, a chat, Google Docs, and even some type of internal escalation chart for us, similar to what the help desk uses. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Great job. Great job, group two. All right, group three.
Yeah, I don't know if it was me or Jeff. I don't know if we talked to was gonna be the person. But at any rate, I think part of what we came up with, a lot of the communication right now is top down. We kind of thought that the management in IT is doesn't want to listen to some of the problems that the techs are finding out in the field. And also, one of the things that I personally think is a problem is we don't see communication that goes out to the principals, and the principals sometimes don't read that stuff, and we don't see it, and then we say something and they haven't read it, and we can, the only thing I can say is I've been told an email has been sent to you, and so that to me is kind of a problem. We don't know what's coming from IT management to the principals, which kind of makes it, we're operating in the dark when, we go to them and say, oh, did you, and we mention something that we know is coming, and they're like, well, I don't know about that, which happened recently in my school. And I'm like, well, I know this stuff has been sent out to Milton, according to my management team, this has been sent to school administrators multiple times, and then they act like they've never seen it. And we can't say, well, I know it's been sent to you, but I don't really know it's been sent to you because I've never seen it, that it's been sent to you. So that to me is kind of a little bit of a frustrating thing sometimes. And then the other thing I think is, we talked about several systems, and this came up, that have been implemented since the pandemic that we have had no training on and no communication about. And a lot of the systems that kids and teachers use now is stuff that we really have no control over. It's we don't have administrative rights on any instructional systems, and yet these systems are out there. We don't, people start talking about these systems like I don't even know. I've never been informed that we're using that system. It's kind of how I feel sometimes. So that's, and I don't know if Jeff has anything to add, but that's my little bit on what kind of bubbled up in some of ours.
Yeah, we went over really quickly before we realized we were supposed to be talking about more communications, the reconciliation. And then we did talk about things about T3. I mean, if we send you a text or email, or Brian or Leslie or anybody, y'all are very good at responding to us. But as Larnell was saying, we're the last ones to get anything or any information. If something's down, then usually the programmers will send a little thing saying this is down, or Andrew or somebody or you will send something out saying, well, this system is down, or it might be down and then it's back up. But, we should be kind of like the first people to know, because we get asked first soon as something happens in the system, soon as something goes down, or as soon as I was telling them that I get a lot of kids coming and asking me about programs, or they sent me to you, Mr. Ware, to take care of something. I'm like, what is that you're even talking about? What book or application? Or never even heard of it. So a minimum is we should have been sent a list of everything they use, at least by grade or by school, that could possibly be used, and who's helping with that, who do we get information from if they need help. I mean, obviously they think we're going to be able to wave a magic wand and fix their problem, but that's not it. And then we have to go through a lot of contacting you or trying to contact Brian, I don't think that should be the way we communicate with each other. A lot of people will put out an email. Have you had any issues with this system or this equipment? And, we should have a little bit more of a binder or a book we can go to tell us, give us some direction, so to speak. That's kind of all I have.
And also, Byron, a lot of times you guys are the front line. So you're telling us exactly what is wrong, and then we have to relay that up the chain or fix that system too. So, you guys get the first complaints, and then, we hear about them, but there are times that other systems are down and we don't hear about it. But, you guys do let us know when things are down.
I mean, personally, I feel like it could be really useful. Lots of times tickets that come in that relate to T3 systems get assigned to the techs, and we don't even really know what to do with them oftentimes because we have no administrative rights. It would be useful to have a list of the administrators in T3 that are in charge of each system so that we can quickly refer these tickets to the administrator so they get resolved in a timely fashion.
So like a flow chart for who resolves this issue.
A flow chart or just a list of the systems and the people that are responsible, they have administrative rights on them to correct things, because we don't have it down at this level. We don't have anything.
Gotcha. Hang on 1 second. Wait, 1 quick second.
In the
Go ahead.
escalation chart.
1 second, Michelle, coming to you.
Tells where they are, who has which, the T3.
You're right. Thank you, Pam. You're right.
That thing
Thank
is
you.
very
Go ahead.
outdated.
Yep,
No,
hang
not
on
in
1
this
second.
big chart.
Wait,
There's a
ladies,
small
hold on.
tab.
1 second. I'm moderating now. Hold on. I'm sorry. Michelle has
Sorry.
patiently, that's okay. She's patiently raised her hand and has been waiting. So Michelle, go ahead. You had raised your hand. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I think that kind of piggybacks off of the whole escalation chart thing. I know when I was at the help desk, it was really, really helpful that we had that. Just because it not only did it stop us from going to Shanita for every little thing, as far as ticketing and us escalating those tickets were concerned, but it also just kind of gave us an idea of how to like explain things to certain customers and whatnot. So I think it would be helpful that way, you know, like they said, you guys are very responsive. If I text Brian or if I text Pat or anybody, I know I'm going to get a response, but I'm sure it's tiring to get, you know, hit up every 2 minutes. So it would be nice to at least have something like that, that's kind of public for us to see. And maybe even I do want to know more about what, you know, the software or apps that the kids are using, because I got asked a lot about that kind of stuff too, and I'm just like, I'm kind of going with the flow right here, so we'll see what we can figure out, but it would be nice to have that kind of information public to us.
All right, thanks for sharing that. We're gonna go with Kevin one second, then I do need to get back. I do want to hear group 4 and 5 before we get into Q&A. So Kevin, go ahead, then we're going to group 4. Go ahead, Kevin.
I can wait for the Q&A.
Okay, Q&A it is. All right, first of all, before we leave group 3, I just want to make sure I get this right. Communication is too much of a top-down trickle effect. Principals get the communication before you all. I hear that. More training on instructional systems. So we possibly do need to work with T3 to make sure that you guys at least have some fundamental understanding of those instructional systems that they're using. Typically, you express that you're the last ones to get the information, that you guys should be a priority because you are all on the front line. Jumping through hoops to get answer.
Just a
Sorry,
quick,
one
I'm
second.
sorry.
Yep, one second, just let me finish the last sentence. Also, jumping through hoops, like a more clear and concise way to get answers as opposed to jumping from person to person. Who can I get info from? So I just wanted to iterate and make sure that I heard everything correctly from group 3. Go ahead, Angela. Was that you, Ange?
Me. So I just had a quick question. As far as the memos are concerned, like, is it possible to have those sent out to the tech liaisons? Because I know I just had a situation where the principal supposedly didn't get it. And you know, the tech liaison here, they're like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what information you're supposed to receive. And I wanted to know if it was possible to have that stuff relayed to them. Because as far as my schools are concerned, like the tech coordinators or liaisons are the ones who kind of are the go-to persons in their school. And they just want to know just the information that the principals were supposed to receive. That way they're kind of in the loop.
Gotcha. So here's what I could do, and we'll roll this into Q&A. And thank you, Kevin. Kevin, just be sure to write down your question. I know you've been patiently waiting for the Q&A. Please write it down because I want to hear it. I'm sure it's important and I know it's vital. But to answer your question quickly, Michelle, memos are sent out by the executive assistants. You'll see them a lot coming from Coley and other. Coley's assistant, Monica's assistant, and they are strictly streamlined to go to only those administrators in the building. They really do leave the onus on the administrators to make sure that information is disseminated. You and I and the rest of everyone else here knows that there's a disconnect, and sometimes those memos come and they come and they come and they get filtered and they filtered and they filtered, and it never gets to who it should get to. I will do my part because I am copied on each of those memos. Whenever anything comes out that is any even the tiniest bit IT related, I'm going to make sure that I download that memo and I will disseminate it all to you. There's a lot of memos that come out every week and I see them, and unfortunately I can kind of see how it gets watered down. Maybe 5 to 10 memos a week that these, maybe even more. That's just that I see. I'm sure the administrators are seeing more. So they do get a little just you know, I guess dulling to the fact, oh, it's another memo, it's another memo. But I promise you that whenever one comes down that is IT related, I'll share it the moment it comes down. In this case, like what I shared with you guys last week, although it should not have been disseminated to any schools because it hadn't officially come out and been sent to administrators. Andy's here down the hall, so I don't want to say it too loud. But I wanted you guys to be aware and know what was coming before they see it. But please just be on, you know, I just ask that you guys be on point that if I share something with you and ask you not to share it with anyone, it's only because it will come down on me if you guys start talking about it before the administrators get it. It's just, and I know, John, you talk about top down, trickle down, things like that, but there's a process that takes place in PGCPS, you know, that they just have to follow these, you know, these formal procedures. So I'm always going to share with the information as soon as I get it with you guys, but you have to promise me not to let it leak out until I say, okay, now you can talk about it. Okay. But that's all that I asked. So yes, I promise I'll get the information to you soon. But hold on, let me get to group 4. Group 4 and group 5, you are not lost. You are not forgotten. Who is my reporter for group 4? Did we have one?
Miss Williams was recording, but I'll report out for group 4.
Go for it.
Again, we're gonna echo some of the same comments about communication. Yeah, seems like the only time that we really hear from anybody up front is when they need something or they have something to tell us. That's really the only time. Administrative rights across the board for each tech should be the same and consistent, so that if somebody has a question about accessing a report in an app in AMS or whatever, the person that they're talking to can say, yeah, I see that. But if somebody calls Angela, Angela will say, well, go to this screen, but they don't have the same rights as Angela. So that's that disconnect of information flowing. The ability to, if you indate a device, it should be mandated that it require an assignment at that time. You should not be able to indate without an assignment, not going out and coming back in to do an assignment, but the end date should not be accepted without a new assignment. And that will help going forward in the reconciliation of devices being where they are, whether it's in for repair, whether it's at another school or whatever. But because we can end date, and I don't necessarily have to do an assignment, I can end date a device and throw it in the stack. But it doesn't leave Frederick Douglass, but it's in my possession.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything to add?
I just wanted to add there just some more robust reports either out of AMS or the Apex enrollment lists, because like particularly now in high schools, the seniors are getting ready to leave very soon. So it'd be great if I can just pull a report, and even if I need to filter it, I can filter it by class of 2022. But right now it's a manual process. So that's of course not efficient nor ideal.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you, group 4. Just to make sure I get you right. So again,
Oh, can I just say one more thing?
Absolutely not, Jahan. Go ahead. Yes.
So
Yeah, go.
one of the last notes, we had was that other people are able to make modifications within AMS, and as the tech, we're not getting any notification of that. So if there was a way where when someone else within our schools makes adjustments in AMS, we get some type of notification so that we could maybe follow through on that, or just be aware of when there's changes in there that involve the school. So that was one thing they said.
All right. Gotcha. All right. Thank you, group 4. We're just going to leave this as consistent. This is the last time I'll say it, because I'm sure group 5 is going to say it too. Communication. We know that that's the biggest issue. It seems that we only reach out to you guys when things are needed or when we want you for something, and that shouldn't be the case. It should be communication just to say good morning. It should be communication to say you are appreciated, we love you, things like that. So you're gonna, okay, I hear that. Definitely stop the communication only when someone wants something from you guys. Admin rights need to be more consistent. What one tech has the rights to do, the other tech should have the rights to do. Make sure that when we are end dating an assignment, that is end dated and a new assignment is created, not just left as end dated. A more robust features from Apex and asset management, which Angela, thank you for bringing that up. Jing Hong and her group are working on it now. We actually have a cross-platform type of communication between Apex and AMS. It's getting there, but I hear you. We need more robust. If you want to filter just by a certain class, these graduating class of 2022, right now you couldn't do it. But it's getting there. We do see teachers, so it's getting there bit by bit, but I promise we're going to push them. We're going to push Jing Hong's group to get that more robust reporting. Also notification, as Jahan said, notifications of changes and asset management when things are changed. If there's some way where you all who have those rights at those schools could be informed of when someone made a change of an asset at your school. All right. Thank you, group 4. Thank you, group 4. That was fantastic. Last but certainly not least, group 5, you're on the clock. Who's our group 5 reporter? we might not have a group 5 reporter. Who was in group 5?
I don't know. I never looked at I didn't even,
No.
was that us? Are we group 5?
Yeah. So you
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, I mean, everything that you pretty much covered, because we were last, because we were saved for last, you actually covered, I believe, our concerns. Would that be a right assessment, group 5?
Yeah, you guys basically hit the hammer on the nail the whole time. So.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well,
So
thank
we
you
would
all.
just like to see,
Oh, go ahead.
well, no, Patrick, I mean, again, just to reiterate, just expansion on capabilities and
It's frozen.
Oh, we lost Robert. Oh, shoot.
But
Expansion of capabilities. Go ahead. Shoot. Yeah, Michelle.
yeah, he basically was saying that if we could have more access to not just AMS, but just different programs that we might use in a day-to-day. I know Google Admin was another thing that he kind of mentioned that is very helpful as far a very useful source when trying to find out who's been on what device and whatnot. So, but that's honestly the only thing he was really going to bring up because everything else you guys basically covered.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
before we leave
Expansion.
communication, I just wanted to go back to one thing that I mentioned to you that goes back to this administrative communication that we're not aware of. When the principal at MLK, I said, mentioned some of these things, and I said, what, and she was like, well, you let me know when they email you, almost like she knew she wasn't reading that stuff. So, I can't communicate to her the stuff that has been sent to her that I don't have access to. So that was just kind of one of those catch-22s that I hope somehow gets some sort of resolution. I mean, honestly, I couldn't imagine being a principal right now. They are pulled and, they're drawn and quartered every day. They are just an incredibly busy group of people that has so many little things pulling at them that some of this stuff is certainly not getting to them or being read and recognized and absorbed by them. And I'm not saying it's on them because everybody that's school-based right now is running at like 110 or 20% usually.
Absolutely. Great point. So as I promised, and I guarantee that if any memo or any information whatsoever is going out that in any way, shape, or form relates to us as a department, I'm going to make sure to send it out to you guys immediately. If I may even at times, again, I'm going to reiterate this one more time, just because it was a little messy last week. If I happen to send some information to you guys ahead of time, before that memo is Form 1 goes out, please just keep it here until that memo goes out. But thanks, John. Yes, I'll get every information, any tidbit of anything. I'll make sure I get it out to you. So thank you, group 1 through 5. That was fantastic. Please know that I'm not taking these comments and these suggestions and writing it down. I'm going to ball it up and throw it away. I have it here on my trusty steed of a tablet, and it will go in electronic form in the next 10 minutes, and we will address and conform to each and every one of these suggestions that were made. So we're going to make improvements here, there, and everywhere. I promise you that. All right. I know we're a little bit past our time. It's 11:08, so I'm going to keep the Q&A kind of short because I don't want to keep you guys too long. Who had the question? Kevin Jones, is your hand still raised? Are you still here, Kevin?
I'm still here, but no, I'm quite sure
Yes.
Don's gonna touch on it, so I'm waiting for her.
Okay. All right. Steve, I'm going to come to you. Ladies first. Go ahead, Dawn. Shoot.
I just really had a suggestion maybe that may help some of the texts since we did Comedy Hills last week. Just everybody trying to find what process works with them, because essentially it is about what's going to work best for the individual tech in the building. So I will say just in my school, just with having the teams, I found that kind of pairing off in a classroom kind of works. So for example, Kels and I will go to a classroom, we would sit at one stationary desk and we would each call a student up, check their barcode, and then kind of go from there. I also kind of learned that for me, using the scanner slows me up, and it's not as, it doesn't work as well than just kind of just typing the barcode in the Finder search. It just works faster for me. And then sometimes the search option isn't always like spot on. So sometimes if you search for, let's say a student name or barcode, it may not pop up. It may be delayed or something. So sometimes you may find, like I found in our group, that a lot of people were adding students that they thought weren't on the list because when they did the find, it wasn't coming up. And we were added at the bottom. But when you go back and actually scan the class, you would actually see that student is listed there. Especially maybe when it comes to like the Latino Hispanic kids who have kind of like the, multiple last names or whatever. So just some things to kind of keep in mind moving forward. And then I also kind of thought, I know we can't really select our teams, but it may help if we can, only because some of us, I mean, we've all kind of worked with each other, but we all know who we kind of work really, really well with and kind of just go and knock it out. Even if that means we share schools. So I'm just going to pull Pam as an example. If we were on teams together, I know she has X amount of schools, I have X amount of schools. So I already know that's a total of at least 8 schools that between us two and whoever else we add, we'll have to do, just as an example. And even if we pull, once we maybe identify somebody within a building that's going to be responsible moving forward, they can go with us. So we pair up, say like the IT technician and then the tech liaison in the building, compare in each classroom together. That way they can also learn the process and we can knock 2 birds with 1 stone. We can get the task done and also show them how to do it at the same time.
All right.
Just suggestions.
Thanks, Dawn. Thanks. I appreciate that. I do appreciate at some point, yes, you're gonna be able to see. Thanks, Dawn. You don't mind if I mute you there, Dawn, do you? There we go. All right. So yes, and I know not many of you guys have had the opportunity to get out there and start this reconciliation process. So once we get through it, once you get your hands wet, you'll see how the process works and why we have to, particularly look for student IDs and things like that. It was actually a blessing that that we ended up with a random pairing just this past week at Robert Goddard. There were still 2 technicians who were working in the same room who had no idea who each other were. So I live for those moments, and I'm glad that we get a chance to meet. Kevin Jones did not know Brian Aquino. That was actually the first time they met. So I look forward to those interactions where people, who haven't worked with each other or even met each other or have no idea who they are, have a chance to meet and work together. Thanks, Dawn. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Steve. If everyone else wouldn't mind muting yourselves, please. There we go. All right, go ahead, Steve.
One of the things I was thinking is probably been an issue for a very long time is never being part of the process. We're always saying this is what's going to happen and this is how you're going to do it. But I'm thinking techs in the building would know the best process or can give some input on the process of how certain things should be done or going to be done. But they never come to the table and ask, hey, what do you think about this? Or what a suggestion on we doing this? It's always just given to them and never really a lot of time to prepare for it, not knowing what people got going on in buildings. A little more time to be able to get this process together would be very helpful, because sometimes things will be in the works for 6 months and we hear about it 2 weeks before it kicks off.
Good point, Steve. Thank you. Very good point. Thanks, Steve. Jahan, go ahead.
I was wondering, are you guys going to be filling in the dates on the chart of when you'll be going into those schools? Because it'll make it easier to be able to make yourself available to other schools once we know those dates.
Great question, Jahan. And yes, to answer your question, yes. So we currently do not have any schools scheduled at the moment. We were kind of slated to do a high school this week, but it fell through. So you're absolutely right. Those dates will begin to be filled in as this memo goes out and as these administrators are able to choose a date or dates that work best for their building. Again, we can't choose the dates because we don't know, what internal things might be happening at the buildings. But yes, to answer your question, as the Google form is filled out by the administrators and they choose the date, this form will be populated so you can see exactly which school, on which date that school will be reconciled. Thanks, Jahan. John, go ahead, shoot.
So I've mentioned this, I've never liked iPads, but this would seem to be a great opportunity for us to use some of the iPads that aren't being used, since we're pretty much down to just using them in K and pre-K for the most part. There must be tons of them out there. for the coding team in the county, this is a perfect situation where you could get barcode readers to fit into a lightning port, scan a barcode, have the appropriate data come up, and take this to a whole other level and make it a lot easier. I know it's not gonna save us this first time, but going forward it sounds like this is gonna be an annual process to really streamline it and make it more efficient. That's something, and then every school should have a few of those. And that's how, maybe AMS should work too, is have some iPads around that makes it a lot easier to do this stuff without being in front of a desktop or a laptop to get things done.
Understood. That's a great suggestion, John. And we are thinking about that. Obviously, the auditors, as they go through the building, they have their own kind of process and tablets that they use. So we're looking into that and trying to figure out a way that we can, infuse what they do and how they do into what it is we're doing. So thank you, John. Very good point. Carla, shoot. Mr. Groom.
So I had to come back and unmute.
That's
I want
all
to
right.
piggyback on what Angela was saying. If we do reconciliation for the high schools, is there a way we can let's work on a process to identify the seniors? Because that's gonna become a problem. Because seniors come up last minute, like they be a junior up until the 2 days before, and now instantly they're a senior. They graduated and got a laptop. Yeah, they turn it in.
That's a very good point. Yeah, and we're working with Jing Hong's group to hopefully be able to they're the group that obviously works with SchoolMax and student applications. So we're hoping that there's a way, not hoping, they're going to get it done. I know they will. They're fantastic. And we'll be able to find out a way to identify those particular seniors who will be leaving so we can catch them sooner than later before we have more devices that are gone and not with a PGCPS student. So good point. Thanks, Carlos. Kevin, go ahead.
You guys planning on giving these cases out to seniors this year?
Great question. No.
Okay, that's fine, because I'm starting to, yeah, we're kind of internally starting to do our assessment of seniors with devices now.
Gotcha. Yep. Thank you for asking that question. To answer the question, no. I should have pointed that out sooner. No, and no. Thank you, Kevin. Dawn, is that a re-raise or did I just not put your hand down?
Oh, yeah, it kind of was a re-raise.
Go ahead.
But I didn't want to jump. I'm not jumping in front of anybody, am I? No.
You're good. Nope, no other hand raised. Go ahead.
Okay. I just kind of wanted to piggyback a little bit back to the poll that we had to do. I know it was anonymous with the first question, with kind of being surprised that I guess the majority of us actually like our job and want to be here. I think most of us, for the most part, really actually enjoy what we do and like our job. But I think it's important that our concerns or complaints don't come off as if like we don't want to be here or we don't want to work. Like, because I think most of us have fair concerns about certain things, about how things are run. And we just want to feel like we have a safe space where we can express those things and not, kind of looked at like, oh, well, they just don't want to work. No, we don't mind working, but we just want to be understood. That's all.
Thank you, Dawn. That was very eloquently put. Thank you. Thank you. I am definitely one of those percentages. I don't know if I'm a little weird, but maybe sometimes I'm a little over enthusiastic to be at work, but I am that way because of each and every one of you guys. It sounds cheesy. I know it does, but it's the truth. I absolutely adore working with each and every one of you. And I think, my other half at home might get tired of hearing about it, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. But it's all right. The things I like to talk about are mostly you guys. Maybe that's an attribute that I don't have many friends outside of work. That's all right. I'm okay with that. But I absolutely thank you, Don. I appreciate you pointing that out. You guys are the world's most fantastic team, and I wouldn't trade any single one of you for anything. John, go ahead. This might be our last hand because I know that we are now 20 minutes past our time. Oh, and then Kevin. So John, then Kevin. Go ahead, John, shoot, quick.
Real quick, yeah, this just came up because of the mention of the cases. Is there any expectation cases will be returned? Is there any financial penalties if they're not returned? Is anybody keeping track of those? That's kind of a...
So to answer your question, informally and formally speaking, the cases that the schools receive will be the cases that the schools receive. To answer will they receive more should student A, B, C, and D lose their case or destroy it? Will the school be compensated with more cases? No, if that answers your question. We've purchased roughly, I think 107,000. We're going to purchase another 14,000 in the coming month or two. That's it. Once the schools have the number of cases that they have in their school, That's kind of it. It could go on forever and ever if we keep buying cases. So for now, with the grant that we had and the money that we had, we spent it and we'll spend it on the number of students that we currently have. Going forward, I don't know what we're going to do about buying more cases year after year. We'll have to see what grants are afforded to us. But to answer your question, no, the cases that schools have are going to be cases that schools have. Yep. Kevin, now we're ready.
Well, basically, you kind of answered that question too, because I'm getting emails about people, schools receiving their cases. And either the cases numbers is not matching up to the numbers that they have already, or basically what do they do when they get new machines and they missing cases or they need cases, but basically you just answered it. They got what they got, am I right?
That is mostly right. So the cases that the schools are receiving now are the number of Chromebooks that are assigned to children in the school. If you're at school A and school A has a population of 550 kids, but in asset management, as of yesterday, there's only 320 Chromebooks assigned to children. That school is receiving 320 Chromebook cases. Going forward, and once we go through and reconcile the school, we know, okay, at that point, okay, now we'll give you a few more cases. But right now, this is kind of seen as a little bit of a reward for the schools for accurately assigning assets to children in their school. Okay.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that these extra cases or these cases, because of the AMS is messed up, basically, their school AMS might be messed up, not giving an accurate count of how many Chromebooks they have versus how many cases they receive. So basically, they missing some cases. So I just wanted to make sure.
Gotcha. Thanks, Kevin.
That's it.
Yep. All right. Go ahead, Lawrence. All right. This has got to be the last two, Lawrence and Colin, and we got to cut it. We'll come back with more questions and answers next week. Maybe we'll have a whole Q&A session. Last two. Go ahead, Lawrence Bailey Jr. Shoot.
Real quick, I probably missed it.
Okay.
Y'all are still distributing the cases, right? Because I know a couple of my schools didn't get anything yet. So I just want to make sure y'all still in the distribution process.
Yep, that is correct. The warehouse is still disseminating the cases. They're all coming from the warehouse. It was just a massive mountain of cases that we couldn't handle ourselves. If everyone wouldn't mind muting themselves, please. So to answer your question, yeah, they're still being disseminated by the warehouse. Yep. Thanks, Lawrence. Colin, you're gonna wrap up today's session. Let's hear it.
All right, I just have one question about asset management for the liaisons and the people in the school who are using asset management. Is there going to be a way going forward, if the schools are going to be really responsible for this, for them to get assets accurately assigned that have been for transferred students or withdrawn students? Because right now they can only see the assets in their school. So once they're withdrawn or transferred, they lose access to those students in AMS.
That is true. And that's an excellent question. Going forward, we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do or how we're going to move these students who are withdrawn or no longer PGCPS students, so they're no longer reflected on the previous school's inventory. So great question, and I'll have to chew on that one for a little bit. But yes. Yep. All right. Thank you guys. I know I apologize. We're 23 minutes behind, but I think this was super productive and it's always great to hear from you. The input that you guys just shared today is the best input that I've heard in years and years and years. So I'm going to take all this input. We're going to make it work. We're going to improve things. I thank you all for being the consummate professionals. I thank you all for going above and beyond with your customer support. I thank you all for being on time, on target, on task every single day. You know me, I'm not a micromanager, and I know that you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing every single day, going above and beyond. So thank you for your continued fantastic work ethic. Have a great day. Again, if you guys need anything, you know, obviously I think at this point, everyone knows where to find me or any of your lead techs. So thank you guys, I appreciate it. Stay tuned. We're gonna come back together again before this whole department meeting on April 4th. So we'll meet again before the grand meeting in April. So thank you guys. Thanks for everything. Have a great day.
Thanks, Patrick. You too.
Hey, thanks, Patrick.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay. No, we're done.